All right, so today we're going to talk about natural logs and base E, and they're pretty much the same as what we've been doing. Sorry, y'all. Same as what we've been doing. Natural log is log base E of any number, so we can say A, it doesn't matter. So E is equal to, let me show you on your calculator. There are two places that you can find E. The first place is if you hit second LN, LN is right beside the 4 key. Does everybody see that, the E? All right, and then the other place is on top of the divide key. So there are actually two places that you can use it. This one down here with the LN will throw a power box at the top, and this one you will have to write to the blah, blah, type in another key. So I always use second LN. Log base E and LN are basically the same thing, okay? So E, if we put that in our calculator, is an actual number, and that number is 2.718, blah, 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 blah. So it's like pi. We know that pi represents 3.14. E is the same way. It represents 2.71828. Okay. All right. So to evaluate natural base expressions, all you got to do is type it in your calculator. So second LN is what I use, and LN is next to the 4. So second is the blue key, LN next to the 4, and you guys see that this one throws a power box. If you do the second divide, it just don't have a power box. And then we type in 0.5. And that's it. What do we get? 1.6. Thanks. Then you just go to the next one. Second LN, we're doing to the -8. We get, check this one out. What's on the end of that thing? What's E mean? You all know? Nobody?
Like zeros go on for a while.
It's actually how many you're going to move the decimal back. So -4 will be back. So it's scientific notation. So you guys remember scientific notation, either from like chemistry or something like that, if you've taken it yet, or even elementary school. So you had a number like 3 times 10 to the 4th. Yes, you remember that? That E is that times 10, and this one's to the -4th. So what that means is we're going to take that decimal place. I'm going to put it up here so you guys can see. And we're going to move it back 4 places. So our actual number is 0.00033. And you could put 3, 4, it doesn't matter. On your quiz yesterday, the one that you had to round, it might have showed you that it was wrong to begin with, but then I went back and changed it as long as it was fairly good. She had it specifically set for a certain decimal place, and you guys rounded a little bit different. But I told you as long as you got it, I would go back and give that to you, okay? All right, same thing on the next one. We're just going to plug it in. Second LN, E squared, so 2. We're just going to write it down, 7.389. If you want to round it correctly, 1. And then the next one, E to the -1.3. This one doesn't have one of those E -4, so it's just a normal number, 0.2725. Y'all okay with evaluating those? Pretty simple, right? Okay. So then on the other side, you have LNs. It is the exact same thing. You literally just type it in. So LN is next to the 4 key. If you guys look down here at 4, LN is right beside it. So we're just going to type it in, LN3. I'm going to close my parentheses and hit enter. And I evaluated it to be 1.0986. 1.0986. Okay. I'm going to drop down to LN4. I get 1.3862. You could have put 3 on the end. I'm going to do DLN 0.05. And then for B, I don't know why it just has ln. That's really weird, but I'm gonna make you do ln1, -1. What happens? What happens? Yeah, so this one is,
Not, but
yeah, this one is gonna be no solution or no value. And again, it's the same way with logs when you have it in exponential form. So E is gonna be exponential form. You can do everything. Everything is just normal. But when you have to solve LNs, which we'll do at the end of these notes, when you have to solve equations with LN, you do have to plug it back in because we can't do that. Can we do LN0? We're going to check that out. So on logs, we can't do log of 0 or log of a negative number. Can we do ln of 0? No. So it's the exact same thing because this ln is a log. Okay. So it is a log. All right, so then these are even easier than those. So simplify the expression. ln and e are inverses of each other, just like we had log base 6 of 6. So if we had this, we were canceling out this to get x, right? ln and e cancel each other out. So ln and e will cancel out, and we're left with what? -4. On the next one, ln and e cancel out, and we're left with?
83.
Thank you, 83. On this one, ln and e cancel out. Doesn't matter which order you put them in. They cancel out, and you're left with? And on the last one, you're left with? Yeah, that's it.
3x.
That's it. So ln and e cancel out. So that's the rule that you need to remember. ln and e cancel each other out. So remember that. ln and e cancel each other out. All right, so when we're solving, we're going to get solving equations. That's the important part. When we go to solving, the first thing we want to do is make sure whatever we're solving for is by itself. So on this one, we're trying to get rid of e because we don't like that in there. So we need to get that e by itself. So if we're looking at the very first one, how can I get e and that exponent like we did with logs? How do I get it by itself? Divide by negative.
Move it.
What is 15 divided by 2? 7.5. All right, so you could do log left, right, middle if you want to, okay? Works the exact same way, works the exact same way. However, what cancels e out? ln, right? So I'm gonna do ln to both sides. So what I do to one side, I do to the other. So the ln and e will cancel out, and I'm left with m minus 2 equals ln, sorry, that should be a 7.5. We can evaluate ln 7.5 in our calculator, and we get 2.0149. So m minus 2 equals 2.0149. How do I solve for m? We get m equals 4.0149. That's it. So it's the exact same as what we did. The only difference is instead of logging both sides, we're going to ln both sides so that we can get rid of e. Same thing. Okay. What do I have to do on number 2?
Divide by -9.
Perfect. Everybody all around, perfect. So -35 divided by -9 is?
3.89.
If you want to leave it as a fraction, I think that's an n, e to the 5n. You can just leave it as 35 over 9, and that's perfectly fine. You don't have to do anything crazy. You don't have to get all the decimals or whatever. How do I get rid of e? ln both sides. We see we have 5n equals ln of 35 over 9. What do I do now?
Do ln 35 over 9.
Make sure you close it down, 35 over 9. Sorry, I did log. ln 35 over 9. We're going to hit enter. We get 5n equals 1.3581. How do I solve?
Divide by 5.
I'm gonna do that in my calculator, divide by 5. And I get n equals 0.2716. All right. Any questions so far? Not too bad, right? Not too bad. Look at number 3. What do I have to do for number 3? Yeah, move that 2. Sorry, my cord is all jammed up in the paper. Subtract that 2. I get e to the v plus 9 equals 18. What do I need to do now? ln to get rid of e. Perfect. That leaves me with v plus 9 equals ln 18. What do I do now?
Do ln 18.
ln 18 in my calculator gives me 2.8904. 2.8904. How do I solve?
Subtract by 9.
And I get v equals negative 6.1096. Is that okay to have? Is that okay to have? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yeah, remember exponentials we don't have to check. So e's we don't have to check, ln's we do, okay? So none of these are, all of these are going to be perfect. The rest of them we're going to check. All right, what do I do on number 4?
Divide by 5.
Before that? Yeah,
Subtract
subtract 10. So 5e to the a plus 26. When we subtract 10, we get 78. How do I solve?
Divide by 5.
And I'm just going to leave it alone. I'm not going to write it as a decimal. How do I get rid of e? ln both sides. I get a plus 26 equals, what is ln 78 divided 5? What is ln 78 divided 5?
2.7472.
You can put 2 or 3. It doesn't matter. Remember that rounding is not a big deal. And then how do I finish it up?
Subtract 26.
Subtract 26 and I get negative 23.2527. So those are e's. That's all you have to do. Get the e by itself, ln both sides, and solve. That's it. All right, next page is solving ln's. Pretty much the same. Just like logs, if I have ln on one side and ln on the other, what can I do? Mark them out. So one on one side, one on the other, I can mark it out. And the equation that I'm solving is 2p plus 7 equals 3p minus 3. How do I solve?
You subtract
2p. Good. I get 7 equals p minus 3. How do I solve?
add 3.
Perfect. I get p equals 10. Before I box it in, I want to check it. 2 times 10 is 20 plus 7 is 27, which is a positive number, so I'm okay. 3 times 10 is 30 minus 3 is 27, which is also a positive number, so this works. Okay, so all you're looking for is make sure it's positive, not 0, not negative. On number 6, what do I do?
Cancel them out.
I'm left with negative x minus 9 equals 11. How do I solve?
Add 9.
I get negative x equals 20.
Divide by -1.
I get x equals negative 20 before I box it in. Check it. Here's my x. A negative 20 makes a positive 20. Minus 9 is a positive number. So this one does work. So it doesn't not work because it's a negative. It doesn't work because when you plug it in, it makes a negative or a 0. So this one's okay. Same thing on the next one. They only get a little harder. I was trying to tell you this yesterday, I think, because you have to factor it in the end. So that's one of the ones I was trying to find yesterday. But you didn't have one on your quiz, so it wasn't a big deal. But now you'll have one. So we're going to mark out our LNs, and we get 24 plus n equals n squared minus n. When you have n squared and n, you want to get everything on one side. So move everything and get it equal to 0. I want to leave this positive, this n squared. So move everything to it. So I'm going to subtract this n and subtract 24. So I get 0 equals n squared minus 2n minus 24. How do I factor this? Factors of negative 24 that add to negative 2, negative 6, positive 4. What are my two answers? 6 and negative 4. See how it's all coming back? We needed that factoring so that we could do all these problems. We have to plug it in. 24 plus 6 is going to be a positive number. 6 squared is 36 minus 6 is positive, so we're okay. So 6 works. Then we check negative 4. 24 plus negative 4 is 20, so it's okay. Negative 4 squared is 16 minus negative 4 is actually plus 4. So it will also work. It will also work. All right. So number 8 is about as long as a problem will get. Okay. Number 8 is probably the longest problem you'll have. And the only reason it'll be the longest problem, actually it won't, because it actually cancels out. Just kidding. If you have a number in front, remember, how do you factor? Slide divide. So if you have a number in front, you're going to slide and divide, but this one will actually fix itself to be cheater method. Okay. All right, mark out your LNs. 27 plus n squared equals 2n squared plus 6n. I want to move my littlest n squared. So I'm going to subtract this one, but I'm also going to subtract 27 at the same time. So that gives me 0 equals 2n squared minus n squared is 1n squared. We have a positive 6n and a minus 27. This turned out to be cheater method. If it doesn't, then make sure you know how to slide and divide. What are your factors of negative 27 that add to 6? 9 and negative 3. So what are your two likely answers? Negative 9 and positive 3. We need to check them. Negative 9 squared makes a positive. If we add, it's still going to be positive. Negative 9 squared is 81 times 2 is 162. Plus 6 times negative 9 is not going to make it negative. Again, you can also plug it in. So if you're confused by what I'm doing, I'm just plugging in right there, that ln parenthesis 2, instead of n, we're going to put in our negative 9 squared plus 6 times negative 9. If it works, you're good to go. If it gives you an error, you can't use that answer. Okay, so literally all I'm doing is just plugging it in. We can do our 3. You can just do 27 plus 3 squared. That gives us a positive, so we're okay. 2 times 3 squared plus 6 times 3 gives us a positive. They're both okay. I hope we have one that will mess up, but I don't know that we will. What's different about number 9?
It's equal to 0 already.
Yeah, it's equal to 0. There's also not an ln on both sides. Is everybody good? So treat it just like you did the other ones. How would I get ln by itself on this one?
Subtract 9n.
Say it again. Divide by 8.
Subtract 9n.
No, 9n has to come with the ln, so that has to stay together. So you got to get rid of what's not with ln. So what I'm telling you guys, this has to stay together. It cannot be separate. So the thing that we can move is the 8, and the way that we do it is divide because we're already multiplying it. So we get ln 9n equals 0. How do I get rid of one ln? What?
ln, yeah. E.
What? E.
E.
Whatever cancels it out. E. Remember, ln, and we haven't done this, so I was just seeing if you got it. Remember, ln and e cancel each other out, so if we want to get rid of them, we do the opposite. So if we had e's, we did ln's. If we have ln's, we do e's. This cancels out. We get 9n. What is anything to the 0 power?
1.
1. You can also put it in your calculator. It'll give you 1. How do I finish up this problem? Divide by 9.
Divide by 9.
We get n equals 1/9. If we plug it back in, 9 times 1/9 is positive 1. So we're good to go. 10 looks the exact same way. What do I do on over 10? Divide by negative 2. Yes, absolutely. I get ln 10x equals positive 4. So I got my ln by itself. How do I get rid of it now? E both
E.
sides. I get 10x equals evaluate e to the 4th.
54.5981.
You could have done 8/2 as well. And then we're going to divide by 10. We get x equals 5.4591. If I plug that back in, 10 times a positive 5 point blah, blah, blah is positive. So we're good to go. All right, so tell me the difference now in 11 and 12, 13 and 14.
There's 2 ln's.
Yep, 2 ln's on the same side. So remember when we had 2 logs on the same side, what did we have to do? You did this yesterday. ln and log are the same thing, guys. What do you have to do when you have like log 2x minus log 10 equals 4?
Combine them.
Yes. What's in between them?
A negative.
Yeah, a negative or a minus. What's the same as minus when we're dealing with logs?
Divide.
Perfect, division. So we're going to do ln. We're going to squish them together. Negative 2x over 10 equals 4. So when you see 2 ln's on the same side, you just have to combine them. And then it's normal. This is just like we did in the beginning. I've got ln by itself. How do I get rid of it? Yeah. We have negative 2x over 10 equals e to the 4th was 54.5981 from the last problem. How do I solve this? Multiply by 10. We get negative 2x equals 5.4591. And then how do I finish it? Divide by negative 2. I get x equals.
If you multiply by 10, wouldn't it move the decimal over right one?
Oh, yeah, sorry, I divided it. You are correct. Sorry. Put your big fat decimal right there. I was looking at the last problem when I was doing it. I apologize. So it'll be negative 272. Thank you for picking that up. 0.99. When I plug it back in, a negative times a negative makes a positive. It doesn't matter what the number is. So it's good to go. All right, three more. What's in between on number 12, in between the LNs?
A minus.
So it's the same as,
Divide.
right? Okay. How do I solve? How do I get rid of the LN?
E
Both
both
sides.
sides.
I get x plus 8 over 7 equals what you get?
2.7183.
How do I solve?
Multiply by 7.
Uh-huh. I get x plus 8 equals 19.0279. And then how do I solve?
Subtract.
So I get x equals 11.0279. If I plug it in, it gives me a positive in the very first one, so I'm okay. Any questions on number 12? Guys, it's all the same. All the same. 13. Addition is the same thing as multiplication. What gets rid of LN? E. So we get x plus 2 times 3 equals 7.3891. You can do this a couple different ways. You can distribute that 3, or you can just go ahead and divide it out. Dividing it out will make it a lot easier, but I'm going to distribute it because that's what you guys are used to. So 3x plus 6 equals 7.3891. How would I solve this? Subtract 6.
Subtract 6.
Perfect, perfect. I get 3x equals 1.3891. We're going to divide that by 3. X equals 0.4630. If I put that in up here, it still gives me a positive. So that's my solution. That's it. Next one is exactly the same. How do I put the LNs together? Multiply them. Negative
Multiply.
2x times 7 equals 1. How do I get rid of LN? B both sides. Negative 2x times 7 is negative 14x. E to the 1 is 2.7183. How do I solve?
Divide by negative 14.
I get x equals negative 0.1942. When I plug it back in, negative times a negative makes a positive. So we're good to go. All right, everybody okay? I haven't looked at your quiz yet. I'm going to look at it in just a second. That should be all the notes. Quiz, quiz, quiz. Everything looks normal. Normal. Everything is good. You should be okay. Tomorrow, I think you just have this practice tomorrow, which is really weird because it's cool, whatever. But anyway, you have a practice tomorrow to do, I think. And then if you're in here, you're in class, we're going to still do a quick Zoom. But make sure that you're getting all those retests done. Guys, they have to be done by tomorrow or it's closed out. It's done. I can't fix it after that. Okay, so if you have any low grades, if you need to know what those are, just yell at me and I'll help you figure that out. But you need to let me know like right now. Okay, is everybody good? All right, I'm going to stop sharing, stop recording.